one particular doubt I have is I'm not sure what's the main difference of forming a charitable trust under a living trust compared to forming a foundation under the Trustee Act 1952. What in fact is the difference? Yeah.
Okay, if Evanna could actually move her slides to the differences.
Yeah.
Actually,
Here. No.
Yeah.
Let me see. On this living trust, I think pros and cons lah. In this part, is it? Trust and also
I think that's one part. Yeah, okay, this particular one. For charitable trust, so for living trust, it's pretty simple for you to set up because there's no approval that you need to get from the authorities when you want to set up the trust. It's a private arrangement you have with the trustee. So you draw up the papers and all that, and then tell the trustee what you want to put inside this trust fund. Then question is now, when do you want to activate this trust fund? Upon death or during your lifetime, right? Then the next one is, if you go with the Trustee Incorporation Act, in order to start up that trust fund, you would have to apply for licensing with the PM's department, provide whatever documentation they require, which are usually the trust deed, the application forms, and also a plan as to what do you want to do with this foundation in the future, what are your plans for the next 12 months, if let's say the license has been granted. So those plans that the PM department require, you will need to be in detail, not in very general form, not in general, because they'll think that it's you're not serious about it. Though they don't require guarantees in terms of how much money you want to put in, but they do ask for a proper plan. Same thing, the Inland Revenue will ask also for a proper plan when they want to grant the tax-exempt receipt. Now, what will happen is you will apply to the PM's department to get approval first with all the paperwork. Once that approved, as Evanna said, it will probably take about 6 to 8 months, sometimes even to a year. Then what happens, your next step will be, with this approval from a PM's department, you will apply to Inland Revenue for tax exempt receipt, for tax exemption license. Now that takes another 6 to 8 months. Now the thing about it is that during this application, they will ask you, from the time you got the PM's department license through your application today, what have you done in terms of the money that you have put into that foundation? Okay, so they want to see activities that have been done while you are waiting for approval from the Inland Revenue for the tax exemption. Right, that's one. So they want to look at previous history, and at the same time what they will tell you is, you need to provide us a plan for the next 12 months. If we grant you the license today, for the next 12 months, what are your detailed plans to use the funds? So they are pretty tight on that, because they want to make sure that the approvals that have been given are not going to be misused or used for money laundering purposes. So they're pretty tight about all those things.
Okay, so what you're saying is forming a foundation takes a lot more time, because you need
a lot more
license from Prime Minister's department, and you need
that's one. Also, because when you have a set up a foundation, which means you are really serious into it, you need to spend time managing that foundation, treating it as if it's a full-time company that you're involved in. You can't wash your hands off, because you are the founder of that foundation, and you need to monitor the activities, because annual reporting to the PM's department, to the Inland Revenue, anything that goes wrong, they will look for the founder and look also for the board of trustees in that foundation. So it's more for people who are serious in wanting to do charitable work, not people who just want a name only. If you want a name only, I suggest you do a charitable trust, because that's less cumbersome in terms of compliance.
Another thing is they can for a foundation they can raise funds from the public, but a trust cannot do that.
Correct. Trust won't be able to do that.
Unless they are somebody willingly put in money into the trust, then it's fine, right?
Correct. Somebody donates money into your charitable trust, that's fine. But you can't have fundraising activities like
Doing campaign or
karaoke, singing contest or whatever. So you can't do all that. So it has to be very much self-funded and depending on who wants to donate.
Oh, I think that's very clear to me now. Can you give some example of the existing foundation that's already up there and doing good stuff to our
Well, there's
country?
plenty. One of it is CIMB Foundation.